Stay watching D-Flow. I try to see myself on D-Flow.
Well, you on there right now. Emotions too, man. Yeah.
She grew up as emotion.
Any strong emotion that's invoked is what I write about.
A modern day Poets Underground.
2003, I actually met Emotion, and her studio was like the stomping ground for any up-and-coming local artists, especially in the Baltimore area.
Right.
Studios and D-Flow TV hold me down since I was 10 years old, man. Participating in anything with that DF on it.
We're standing right here with Beanie Siegel. DJ Khaled in this
D-Flow Studio, the movie. You feel me?
Yo, this is Crucial of Crucial Keys, and you're watching D-Flow TV.
What's good? It's your boy Juve the Great doing it real big right here on D-Flow TV.
Sesame the Ghost Double R D-Block right here on D-Flow TV.
Shout out to D-Flow TV. I'm your boy Chopper Young City.
D-Flow TV.
Guru in the building, yeah. You're checking out D-Flow TV, alright? Keep it locked.
Day 26 across the building. We got Brian going off right here next to me.
This house, sunscreen, and Afro Sheen will be in the cabinet.
Let's set it here with Flair from the wire.
If it ain't D-Flow, it ain't nothing. D-Flow TV is live.
D-Flow TV, you know how I get it in.
Shout out to D-Flow Studios,
it's your boy Jay Holiday, of course. Right now, you're checking out D-Flow TV.
A lot of passion and a lot of connections. Y'all touch the hood with that. It's deep to be out there like that.
That's why we call D-Flow.
D-Flow TV.
You already know. Little Sparks in the building. Holla. We here all day. Yes, sir.
Yeah, chilling with D-Flow TV. This is the boy Skinny Shield chilling with my homies.
I'm sitting here with Mano, and I'm hanging out with D-Flow TV. Shout out to D-Flow TV.
You already know. Popping off heavy ahead. Blackbird Entertainment. You know what I'm saying?
It's got City in the building right here.
The whole world crazy. Sitting the homes outdated. We do something else greater. Was that my boyfriend calling? I just call him back later.
Y'all watching D-Flow TV. Keep it locked.
It's Chief Rocker Busy Bee, the backbone of the microphone, hip-hop's first solo MC. You now watching D-Flow TV. So check it out. www.deepflowtv.com.
That's how we do. Keep it got it. D-Flow Studio.
Right. Right. His leg look broke. Look at his leg. Look at his leg. That boy leg look broke. Oh my God. His leg broke and y'all dragging him like that.
Witnesses capture the final moments of an arrest that send this man to shock trauma.
At no time, and I've seen the video a number of times, did I see a use of force at that moment.
Baltimore police won't reveal the reason why bike cops stopped the fleeing individual that family members have now identified as Freddie Gray.
The national tension around police brutality is focused right here in Baltimore after a 25-year-old critically injured in police custody last week died from his injuries. WJZ is live at Baltimore Police Headquarters. Derek Valcourt has the outrage around the case and the new reaction from the mayor, police, and attorneys for the man's family. Derek?
Well, this really is grabbing national headlines. The mayor and the police commissioner vowing to get to the bottom of what really happened to this man. But tonight, many in this community are already calling it murder. This cell phone video shows the moments after police chased down and handcuffed Freddie Gray last Sunday. He's screaming in pain and his leg dragging as he's put in the back of a police van. Less than an hour later, he's rushed to the hospital. His spine 80% severed at his neck, according to his family attorneys. He lapsed into a coma and died this morning. An already frustrated community now outraged.
Those officers immediately need to be arrested and charged. You're dealing with murder.
For years, Baltimore City Police have grappled with excessive force complaints. Now, an exhaustive Baltimore Sun investigation reveals more than 100 people have won settlements and judgments that, along with legal fees, cost city taxpayers $11.5 million over the past 4 years. Victims include a pregnant accountant, a woman selling church raffle tickets, a deacon, an 87-year-old grandmother, and another grandmother, Barbara Floyd. The city paid her $30,000 $2,000. She says she was trying to get her grandson into her house when officers claimed she was interfering with his arrest.
He put another leg in the small of my back. He was grinding my face into the pavement. There's a little hole, a dent in the street. The whole print of that hole was in my face. I thought I was going to die.
Stay down, stay down, stay down, stay down, stay down, stay down, stay down.
This man, who asked WJZ not use his name, claims officers arrested him without cause, then attacked him while he was handcuffed, upset that he fidgeted in the back of a patrol car.
Did you think you were going to die?
Yes, I thought I was not going to make it that day.
The Sun found troubling patterns. Many of the same officers were involved in case after case of excessive force. In almost every case, prosecutors and judges dropped charges officers brought against citizens. And even after big payouts, the cops routinely kept their jobs.
The court files and the transcripts, they show a lot of severe injuries. Broken noses, broken arms, broken legs, broken jaws.
But the Fraternal Order of Police contends officers are not brutal, and many people file frivolous lawsuits to take advantage of them. As for the city's response,
we have made it very clear that any cases brought to us, any allegations of police misconduct, whether it's criminal, whether it's administrative or excessive force, we will investigate it to the fullest.
I don't trust them, not the ones in this area. Actually, not the ones in Baltimore City, period.
Only now is the city tracking which officers are involved time and time again in these cases.
This is the new cell phone video showing the beating of Jamar Kennedy outside of Melba's place. Kennedy is the man in the white t-shirt. His back is to one officer who uses a baton to hit him multiple times. As he is kneeling, he is tasered. The result of this altercation, a bloody mess. Pictures show Kennedy bleeding from the face and with a swollen eye. Baltimore City Police promising to investigate the incident thoroughly.
We have not, and I have not come to any conclusion at this point. Every action and inaction will be reviewed and questioned up to policy and asked if any of that action was necessary.
He is charged with assault and with resisting arrest. In a statement, his attorney said, quote, "If this behavior complies with the Baltimore police policy and training, then an overhaul of the policy and training is warranted, as we also believe this behavior is unreasonable and possibly life-threatening." Life-threatening.
Cases like these, nothing new for Baltimore City. In June, an officer was caught on video beating a man at a bus stop.
The amount of police force used in the videos has many people talking.
It's not rare. It's really the reality of so many Americans who are living today, day in and day out.
Pastor Jamal Bryant says that's why it's time to arm citizens with information. He wants everyone to know that police are not the enemy, but you do have rights and you should know how to use them.
Stopped at a bus stop, if you're stopped in a street corner, if you're with the wrong crowd, if you're coming out of a melee, how should you carry yourself? If you're arrested, what are the things you ought to be doing?
Those are all the things he aims to address with a new initiative called Conscious Operations During Police Stops, or COPS for short. Local attorneys and police representatives will all be on hand to help educate and hopefully end the fear and violence, something Police Commissioner Anthony Batts says he's also working towards. He wants officers to start wearing body cameras so there's more accountability on the force.
You never know what might happen. You never know what the officer might be dealing with, how he may feel, and how he may feel toward you. So you're just scared to talk to police officers, scared to be around police officers, and it makes you just all around just scared, just to be on the streets.
This is an ongoing problem. There are only a few officers that are doing this, but they seem to be the ones that are playing in our community.
We're seeing a trend across the country about abuse of power that is happening to African Americans at the hands of police.
Baltimore City, no stranger to alleged police brutality. In July of 2013, Tyrone West died while in police custody. Witnesses said excessive force was used. An independent review concluded that was not the case. Police Commissioner Anthony Batts says he is aware these incidents negatively impact relationships between the community and his officers, and is hoping the city will approve the use of body cameras to keep everyone safe and accountable.
You need to operate as if you're always being watched and you're always being videotaped. And we encourage folks to videotape us, to watch us, to film us, because if you're doing things by the book, if you're acting within the legal rights, within your rights and constitutionally, there's no need to worry about being filmed.
Well, Baltimore Mayor Stephanie Rawlings-Blake says that she will veto 2 controversial bills passed by the City Council tonight that would require police officers to wear body cameras.
The city's legal department has said that the bill is illegal, and the mayor has raised privacy concerns, among other issues.
I don't want to have to send things back to them for them to get their job right. But when they don't get it right, I have to be the chief executive for our city, and I can't sign legislation that I think is sending the wrong message to our citizens.
Deputy Police Commissioner Jerry Rodriguez admitted today the force never tracked officers or the money involved in settling cases where police brutality is alleged. A lack of transparency often perceived by the public was also brought up.
What we have to do here is strengthen what we can strengthen to allow our department to get rid of these bad apples and get them off the street.
And the officers who were on paid administrative leave following the beating of Jamar Kennedy returned to work today.
In a recent WJZ interview, Police Commissioner Batts said he will not stand for brutality at the hands of his officers.
I will not tolerate misconduct. That's building trust. So I can't be held accountable for the history of this organization or where it's going, but for the future, we're going in the right direction.
This cell phone video shows the moments after police chased down and handcuffed Freddie Gray last Sunday. He's screaming in pain and his leg dragging as he's put in the back of a police van. Less than an hour later, he's rushed to the hospital. His spine 80% severed at his neck, according to his family attorneys. He lapsed into a coma and died this morning. An already frustrated community now outraged.
Those officers immediately need to be arrested and charged. You're dealing with murder.
All lives matter in this city.
Police Commissioner Anthony Batts and the mayor promising a full independent investigation into what happened.
The questions that many of you have are the same questions that we're asking.
Attorneys for the family say if the police have nothing to hide, they should release all videos and recordings related to the case. And for now, they're awaiting findings from the investigation.
I think the people in Baltimore want the truth.
Very much with the protesters. These young men are incredibly angry about everything happening.
Yeah, straight up. CNN, we here, straight up. Straight up.
You can see there is a lot of emotion running through the streets here. We are now moving on to North Street, which is a very big avenue here in Baltimore. Thousands, perhaps 2,000 people. They marched first to the Western District Police Station, and then they marched over to the area where Mr. Gray was taken into custody. The last time he was seen standing, basically, he went and fell into a coma shortly after and died 7 days later. There is one small group of protesters here. There are several hundred more coming up behind us on other streets. And as you can see, they have shut down traffic in this area of Baltimore. So far, police showing great restraint. But what they are asking for is for all six of those police officers who were named today to be charged with first-degree murder. They say that they are going to march on the City Hall on Thursday. And at that point, a little impossible here, but at that point, they will take over City Hall until they get those individuals arrested.
We will kill, straight up.
Now, Miguel, I don't know how well you can hear me.
Extraordinarily unhappy.
Extraordinarily. I mean, and you have them talking about him being murdered. They're walking by you. They're yelling the F-bomb left, right, and center here to your cameras. I mean, what's the tone? And the anger is very palpable, I will say, right? This is not as calm as people might have expected.
This is Gilmore Homes section of West Baltimore. It is a very tough neighborhood. You see burned out houses everywhere. You see a lot of poverty everywhere. You see food security. People can't afford to eat in this neighborhood. There is great anger and frustration, and they feel that the police force in this neighborhood doesn't stand up for their rights, only knows how to arrest them. In the case of Freddie Gray, for instance, the police say that he made eye contact with police and then fled, and that's what caused them to go after him. In any other city, in any other town, not probable cause, but in this neighborhood of Baltimore, it is. And the people in this neighborhood, hello, I met you last night, the people in this neighborhood are sick and tired of it, and they want it to stop. This Freddie Gray episode, for all the terrible, awful things that have happened in this area, Freddie Gray has lit a fuse, has been a lightning rod for this neighborhood.
I've been doing this for 5 years. I have not seen anything like this before. It's tense down here. Certainly tense. Looks like that, we do have some tear gas in the air. I'm going to try to gather my thoughts here. We got to this scene around 3 in the afternoon. When we arrived here at the Mondawmin Mall, there were probably anywhere from 400 to 500 rioters, mostly youth. It was a very chaotic situation. Police were arriving. They have this tactical unit van, and that tactical unit van was using its lights and sirens and coming onto the curb and sidewalk to try and disperse the youth. There were a lot of this Midas here, and they were trying to do that to no avail. There are shattered windows on many squad cars. There's actually an injured officer behind this line of officers here, presumably hit by a rock, a piece of wood.
But there was a large group that was on the south side of Mondawmin Mall. They ended up busting inside, and then as people have been going in, other people have been literally driving their cars up onto the parking lot, getting out of their cars, going inside, picking up items, and then running back outside and putting them in their vehicles, and then leaving. It's just a free-for-all here at Mondawmin Mall.
And Roy, we've been with you since, what, 3 o'clock or so? So this is where it started, at 3 o'clock. And here we are, help me do the math, 4.5 hours later, the police have moved these groups, which police are now calling, quote, violent criminals. Earlier today, they were just calling it an aggressive and violent group. They dispersed them from this area. They moved them away. A lot of them are still at North Avenue. So the police left this area. Right. And now these groups of, quote, violent criminals, according to police, just came back to Mondawmin,
to their very own community. That's what's baffling about this. You're destroying your very own community and the resources that are in your community for you. So that's really...
And we got word that some of the business owners at the liquor stores and all were severely injured when they busted inside the stores there. They knocked one of them, from what we understand, unconscious.
And, you know, things are still being pummeled across the street at the police. But it seems like more than dying down.
Erica, hold on 1 second.
Yeah.
Erica, hold on
Okay.
Erica, hold on 1 second.
Okay.
We're watching we are watching from a helicopter from WJZ in Baltimore. We are watching police taking down some demonstrators, some protesters, people who were attacking the police car.
We have officers deployed throughout the city to make sure that we can continue to deliver police services to the citizens of Baltimore, and we will continue to keep the city safe.
7 police officers injured in clashes here with protesters, and as you can see here in broad daylight, they are looting the CVS pharmacy, just casually walking in and out, walking out with handfuls of stuff. And they're saying that this Friday they're going to announce what's going on with these police officers, and that after that it may get 10 times worse than this. This is also what they're doing. They're driving by, sticking their hands out the holes and macing people. They're calling these the Baltimore Riots at this point because of how chaotic they're getting.
Toya Graham spotted her 16-year-old son in a crowd of teens vandalizing and looting. Cameras captured the moment that she confronted her son. She yelled at him and struck him multiple times, and video of the moment spread quickly on TV and social media. More than 2 million people viewed her response to the attention on our Facebook page. The hashtag Mom of the Year began trending on Twitter, and today, Toya Graham, a single mom of 6, joins us. So here's the front page of the paper this morning. It says, "Forget the National Guard, send in the moms. They're calling you hero mom." What was your intention?
My intention was just to get my son
and have him be safe.
Because you had told him, do not go down to the protests.
Yes. He told me the night before that, you know, everybody was supposed to meet up at Mondawmin Mall. And I said to him, Michael, go to school, don't go to Mondawmin. And so to get there and see the massive polices and the helicopters and, you know, I actually ran over to the police and I said, you know, where are the children that have to take this bus route here?
But tell us when you first saw your son, Toya. Take us there.
So after speaking with the police officer, and he pointed across the street from Mondawmin Mall, I stood there on the same side as the police with the shields, and they were throwing bricks. And I was like in an awe, like it was like, oh my God. And to see my son come across the street with a rock in his hand, I think at that point I just lost it.
I mean, what was he saying to you?
Mom, 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 okay, mom, okay, mom. You know, and I was pretty much just telling him, you know, how dare you do this? But for him to do what he was doing, it was just unacceptable.
In the past, a lot of my friends been beaten, killed, abandoned, hurt by the police. So I went down there just to fight for what I stand for, my black people.
Can I ask you guys, the world is now seeing pictures of your home. Baltimore is now to everyone burning on TV, but you live there. Tell me, both of you, tell me about your Baltimore. Is it hard to find a job? Are the schools good? I hear how you feel about the police. Tell me what living in Baltimore is like for both of you.
Sometimes you be scared to walk out the door. Sometimes, sometimes you go to school, you have fun. Sometimes you don't.
What was going through your mind when you actually saw him? Was it just instinctual, or were you premeditated, like, I am going to whoop that ass?
I think because of the fact that I have been watching everything on the news, and when you right there with the police and you actually seeing these rocks and stones being thrown at the police, I was like, oh my God, you know, and to turn around and to see my son right there with a rock, I was like in a rage, because at the end of the day, this gentleman still lost his life, and throwing rocks at the police is not going to bring him back. That's not our justice.
What did you think when you saw that tape of you?
I thought, oh my God, my pastor is going to have a fit.
I tell you what, your pastor may have a fit, but the police commissioner of Baltimore said we need more moms like you.
Let's not miss the point. This is about the death of Freddie Gray, but it's so much bigger than that.
It is.
And I don't want people to lose sight. A man has died here. We still don't know 2 weeks later exactly how he died and what happened.
At some point, I understand the frustration that our community is having. We haven't received any information on what happened to this young guy. We feel as though we have the right to know what happened to him.
But you feel people can't talk to the police?
We can't talk to the police. So as a mother, I mean, that is just devastating to see and don't have any answers.
Yeah.
And so that's what's frustrating to most of us in Baltimore City.
Window has been smashed out, and through the window you can see officers are inside the store assessing the damage, assessing what may or may not have been taken. But yeah, the store is not in good shape whatsoever. The main window has been smashed out.
Wow.
This is not protest. This ain't doing nothing.
Oh, wait, there's a guy bringing up a trash can with fire. I'm not sure what this is about. Nate, do you see that guy?
And then luckily there's someone telling him to stop.
Police! He's gonna hurl at police! There we go!
And somebody was trying to stop him too.
So the officers seem to be unfazed about it.
They blocking the street for real. I'm not proud of this ratchet y'all doing for real. It ain't got nothing to do with no damn Freddie Gray or no Black Power. Y'all acting stupid.
Right, that's keep the message alive because the people that you want to hear it are hearing it. They're hearing it. But this nonsense that was going on an hour ago, that ain't gonna work. Right. That ain't going. You're gonna lose the people that you're trying to capture their attention.
Gotta break this shit out.
While we tried to make sure that they were protected from the cars and the other, things that were going on, we also gave those who wished to destroy space to do that as well. And we worked very hard to keep that balance. I never said, nor would I ever say, that we are giving people space to destroy our city. So my words should not be twisted.
It's now being destroyed. You see the smoke coming out. Elijah Cummings. I don't know if you can see this where you are. You're the congressman. You represent this district. We see a whole phalanx of police officers now outside, and I see no firefighters.
It's very unfortunate. I did not think it would come to this.
Working, and we did leave and close the store down, but they didn't have to burn our store like that. This is our home. Y'all is destroyed. Y'all is destroying the neighborhood. Stop the violence, please. We don't need this. Where's everybody gonna go and shop at? Y'all breaking into stores, taking stuff. That's not right. Everybody work hard for their money. And it didn't have nothing to do with Freddie. It didn't. They destroying the whole city. Not just CVS, they destroying the whole city. For what? Then everybody got rebuild, find more jobs, find better jobs and all that stuff. If we comfortable with where we at.
National Action Network, strongly condemns violence and destruction in Baltimore. However, they're calling on the Department of Justice to step in and to launch a national discussion on police and community relations. Now, we also just spoke to Reverend Damon Lynch III, and he's weighing in tonight as well.
What would really change that is that when police do perform badly, is that there's justice. And until there's justice, you're going to have unrest. As the cries normally are, no justice, no peace. So right now, Baltimore is experiencing that no peace.
Now, late tonight, we are learning that the brand new Attorney General Loretta Lynch, who was just sworn in today, has been in contact with the mayor in Baltimore, and they are discussing what they can do next to stop the violence within their city.
Just hours after Freddie Gray was laid to rest, the rioting started here in Baltimore, and for hours his family watched at home. But shortly before 11 o'clock, they decided to speak to the public, a plea for peace. What was asked to be a day of peace became a day of riots, cop cars destroyed, destruction throughout the city. After watching what was happening, men of the cloth stepped up and out, united to take to the streets of West Baltimore, armed with just each other, 75 starting, ending with more than 150.
Marching has always proved itself to be beneficial and effective to us. Violence has never moved to justice, and that's the message that we've got to get out to these young people tonight.
In response, Freddie Gray's family pleads for peace.
And I'm just hurt, right, but I do not want y'all to be out here carrying on, right? I want y'all to get justice for my son, but don't do it like this here.
I think the violence is wrong, and Freddie Gray wasn't no person for violence, or Freddie Gray wasn't that type of person to break in those stores and all that. I don't like it at all.
Their calls for peace were lost in the Baltimore winds. A little more than an hour later, they were added in the streets.
We had a beautiful homegoing service.
And to see that it turned into all this violence and destruction, I am really appalled.
Baltimore's leaders, many of them African American, demanding peace, but not getting it.
Is that this is our city, that we have to live here.
We will have order, and we will have...
Here we know now the National Guard coming into place, hoping for calm today, but there has been some criticism of Baltimore officials for not calling out the police and force fast enough.
Yes, good morning, George. There will be some Monday morning quarterbacking on whether they had enough officers out on patrol given Freddie Gray's funeral yesterday. Tensions were going to be high despite the calls for peace. Did the police move quickly enough to stop those stores from being looted? But they were clearly in a difficult position once people started throwing rocks and bricks. It was a dicey situation, George.
And this city has been facing some chronic problems.
George, thugs and misguided young people have hijacked what were largely peaceful protests. And there were some powerful forces at work. Baltimore's poverty rate is nearly double the national average, and it has chronic severe drug and crime issues that lead to violence. Between 2010 and 2013, the city had nearly 900 murders. Some of those years, roughly half those homicides did not get solved. And you throw in the fact that the police department has had a difficult relationship with the black community in that town, paying out millions due to allegations of misconduct and excessive force, and right now it's a witch's brew. Given what we're seeing, there's going to be tremendous pressure on the president and his new attorney general to engage publicly on this issue.
With respect to Baltimore, let me make a couple of points. First, obviously our thoughts continue to be with the family of Freddie Gray. Second, my thoughts are with the police officers who were injured in last night's disturbances. Point number three, there's no excuse for the kind of violence that we saw yesterday. It is counterproductive. When individuals get crowbars and start prying open doors to loot, they're not protesting. They're not making a statement. They're stealing. When they burn down a building, they're committing arson. And they're destroying and undermining businesses and opportunities in their own communities that rob jobs and opportunity from people in that area. That is not a protest. That is not a statement. It's people, a handful of people taking advantage of a situation for their own purposes, and they need to be treated as criminals. Point number four, the violence that happened yesterday distracted from the fact that you had seen multiple days of peaceful protests that were focused on entirely legitimate concerns of these communities in Baltimore. The overwhelming majority of the community in Baltimore, I think, have handled this appropriately, expressing real concern and outrage over the possibility that our laws were not applied evenly in the case of Mr. Gray, and that accountability needs to exist. And I think we have to give them credit. My understanding is you've got some of the same organizers now going back into these communities to try to clean up in the aftermath of a handful of protesters, a handful of criminals and thugs who tore up the place.
This is like beyond. I don't know what to do with a door that's broken in and broken glass everywhere. Does anybody know if somebody knows about that being the case here?
Any weapons that we find, anything that we can see that is used as a weapon, it goes in the trash. It gets vanished. So, you know, pretty much we're trying to get every object out the way that any civilian can use as a weapon to terrorize our neighborhood. We need to keep our neighborhood standing and keep standing as a united, as one. Way to do it.
Remember, it takes a village to raise a child, and we're here to help our children.
It's the chaos. It's like to see everybody up in the uproar, to see the city under siege right now. It's like it's the depression that's going on. That people are tired of police brutality.
I appreciate y'all. I really do appreciate y'all.
We don't stand for nothing. We're gonna fall for anything.
One of our darkest days as a city, and I know that we're much better than this.
Right now, a state of emergency is in effect following hours of violent riots after the funeral of Freddie Gray. At least 15 officers were injured in the chaos. Many businesses were looted, some buildings and cars set on fire. The National Guard is on its way right now, and today Baltimore City Public Schools, as well as the state government offices there, are closed. A week-long curfew overnight has also been put in place starting tonight. Our John Gonzalez picks up our coverage for us live in Baltimore this morning with what's happening right now. John.
Well, Autria, there is still plenty of unrest here in Baltimore. In fact, right here on West North Avenue, we have seen a number of fire trucks come through the area. That is the 5th fire truck in the last minute. So it's hard to believe that perhaps yet another fire coming through. You see this fire truck is going to have to break through this police line. This was the epicenter, if you will, where it was a mob scene some 15, 16 hours ago. Now it's more of a cleanup mode, but police still very vigilant, keeping their guards up. They have the armored vehicle. This is from the Carroll County Crisis Response Team, and you see all the debris up and down the street. Not only has the city been using street sweepers to clean the area, but regular residents have been coming through and also using their time to clean as much as they can.
On the edge of downtown, dancing breaks out in reply to the protest and the violence that's shaken Baltimore. They call the style Baltimore Club, and they say it's a release.
That's why we out here dancing, releasing our stress. It's at a record. We dancing.
We need outlets where this type of energy can live and exist and grow, so that when we have these type of situations, our young people have outlets and it's not automatically resorting to a violent reaction.
How do you get these kids to continue to be productive and look on a positive light without any outlet? They closed the recreational centers. They stopped the funding to a lot of the schools. If you drive around Baltimore, you'll notice every single basketball court, the goals are torn down.
No, we need to embrace these kids and bring them into the rest of the community so that they can function as productive members of society. They're not trash, they're not thugs.
While police lines locked down one end of North Street, where buildings were set on fire and looted Monday night, marching bands reclaimed the other end of the street. Only in Baltimore does this make any sense. Freddie Gray's memory was invoked on the streets as night fell and the citywide curfew drew closer.
And we promised that we would be off the streets at 10 o'clock. So please, let's go home. Please go home.
This is, without a doubt, the civil rights cause for this generation.
You can hear the helicopters telling people to clear the streets, to clear the area. But what's just happened is that some of the protesters or some of these kind of young guys hanging around at the back here have been throwing projectiles, throwing bottles of water. The police have moved forward. You can see a bottle of water in the air there, and people are starting to run away. Suddenly things have become tense again.
Minutes later, smoke grenades fired by police squirreled across the road and tear gas followed, scattering the protesters. It proved a short-lived moment of aggression. The night was largely peaceful. But with questions still unanswered and frustrations simmering, the city is at the crossroads.
As night fell over Baltimore on Tuesday, the police were out in force to keep a new curfew firmly in place. This followed a night of rioting, looting and fires. 20 officers were injured and police arrested more than 250 people. The violence erupted after Monday's funeral of 25-year-old Freddie Gray, who died after suffering a spinal injury in police custody.
There's been a lot of things going on in the city, in Baltimore City, that need to be addressed. You know, the injustice against young black men. I don't necessarily condone what happened last night, but the truth of the matter is there has to be some kind of a solution to some of this underlying problem in this neighborhood all around Baltimore City, really.
Many residents condemned the violence, which damaged some businesses and forced others and schools to close.
I would say to the young people, we can turn this around. There is a better way to turn this around, and we need to work together to see it through.
Minor clashes broke out between Baltimore protesters and police. The demonstrators were dispersed around midnight and several arrests made. So far, 6 officers have been suspended in connection with Gray's death. The U.S. Justice Department is investigating possible civil rights violations.
No, don't walk away once we start talking. That's the problem with the media. Because you want to report that we're thugs and we're breaking shit down. You got these 2 big black dudes protecting you from all these black folks. We're the ones that need protection. Report for us. You're working for Fox News. Adam Jackson just went on Sean Hannity. Why are you running away? I'm not doing it.
He's running. He got Toronto on the right, y'all. Look at this. He got Toronto on the right.
Talk to me. Just talk to me. Just talk to me.
Hey, Toronto, we on the
conversation. Yeah, because you're not replying. Because we are angry. But listen, a black man can raise his voice. A black man can raise his voice, and you don't have to be intimidated. Because I want you and Fox News to get out of Baltimore City. Because you're not here reporting about the boarded up homes and the homeless people under MLK. You're not reporting about the poverty levels up and down North Avenue. 2 years ago, when the 300-man march, and we marched from the top of Hilton to from Hilton and North to Milton and North, you weren't here. But you're here for the black riots that happened, right?
A largely peaceful protest with thousands demanding justice and police reform capped a day of relative calm in Baltimore on Wednesday. But anger over the death of a 25-year-old black man after his arrest by police has not gone away. And as the marchers went past, 3,000 troops stood by to enforce a second night of curfew. Elsewhere in the city, Baltimore's Major League Baseball team, the Orioles, played the Chicago White Sox in an empty stadium, a sign of the tenuous security situation.
The city was in flames. Cars were being exploded. Stores were being looted. People's homes were being burnt to the ground. People are pretty happy that we're here. Black Lives Matter!
Across the United States, there have been supportive protests in major cities such as New York and Washington. Baltimore has become the latest flashpoint in a national movement to end racial profiling, sparked by the deaths of black men over the past year at the hands of police.
To Baltimore now, we have live pictures coming in, and you can see we have, it appears that perhaps arrests are being made. Certainly we see protesters there scuffling with police, and we see an arrest vehicle. Let's bring in CNN's Brian Todd. He is on the ground. Brian, can you give us a sense of what's going on there?
Yeah, Brianna, this crowd just got very agitated because the police just arrested someone and put him in this paddy wagon. And when they saw that, they saw the police dragging a man, not dragging, but escorting him across the street and putting him in that van. They got very agitated. They started swarming the van. The police have been pretty measured in their response, just kind of holding their ground and just doing kind of this gesture. The crowd is getting very agitated. They just threw something at the police van here. So the tensions are really rising on the street tonight. They seem to have held their ground a little bit, but this police van is getting out of here. And some objects are being thrown at police. And here they just got another man. But when they try to arrest anyone regarding these protests, Brianna, you can see what happens here.
neighborhood. I'm just not happy as a whole because the people in my city are not happy.
How far is this going to go?
As far as they take us. As far as they take us.
What does it mean? What
it means what's behind me right now. Exactly. What's behind me now. See? As far as they take us.
Did you see that?
Yes, I saw it.
Did you saw that? See that? Well, if you just saw that, they just, while we were talking there, just cut the hose with a knife, and then ran, trying to thwart the efforts of the authorities to actually turn out this fire. People in this neighborhood blaming police for what has happened here. Residents are trying to bring control to the situation. Can I speak to you for a second?
Yeah.
You seem upset by this. Individuals who are here from this neighborhood are very upset by what they're seeing right now. But there are others who are thwarting the authorities at every turn. Even.
I just saw that guy. Yeah, I just saw that guy cut the hose
a person
as
in a
well
gas mask
with the gas mask.
The streets are largely calm right now, but the night started with tension. Again, Andrew Spencer reports on problems that began as the city's new curfew kicked in.
Many protesters refused to leave when the 10 p.m. curfew went into effect, causing a few minor clashes with police. Police threw smoke canisters and fired pepper balls to disperse the crowds. Only a few holdouts remained. At one point, a man approached the police line telling the media to disperse. With an armored vehicle approaching from the other direction, officers surged forward, taking him behind the police line and into custody. A far cry from the intensity of Monday's riots, which left vehicles and buildings burned, businesses looted, and 6 police officers seriously injured. Tuesday, officials brought in roughly 2,000 National Guardsmen and more than 1,000 police officers from throughout Maryland and out of state.
This combined force will not tolerate violence or looting.
Before Tuesday night's curfew, crowds in Baltimore were loud and energetic, but peaceful, continuing to voice their displeasure after the death of Freddie Gray.
Hey Don, we are out here just off the North Avenue, actually Pennsylvania, and you can see right here there's a semi-truck. Police have been surrounding that. Homicide investigators have come out here. What we've been told is they found a body inside that truck. It's an open investigation right now. Not sure foul play is involved. In the last 5 minutes or so, they actually removed the body from that front cab. You can see the officers who are here who have lined this area. In fact, they don't want us to get too much closer to this van as they do this investigation, but they are checking to see how this man or woman died inside this truck. Haven't got a sex confirmed or any kind of identity, but it's something they're checking into. Homicide investigators are on scene as we speak. This is less than a block away from the CVS.
In case you're just joining us, you see there it says body found in truck. Ryan Young is just a block or so away from the CVS where we saw a lot of the uprising. We saw it looted and buildings on fire, businesses on fire, and just inside of a semi-truck on Ryan's location, we were told that they found a body and removed it just a short time ago.
This other gentleman over here is really venting his anger. I think he believes that some of the neighborhood volunteers are trying to oppress his voice, and now he is, as you can say, he is confronting the police. See where this goes.
Almost 20 minutes into the mandatory curfew on the third night here in Baltimore, Maryland, and that's what you're witnessing on the street. Some of the people, some of the citizens are upset, feeling that their voices aren't being heard, and they are yelling at police, and then you have community leaders, and that's what you're looking at on the left of your screen.
Why was he arrested? Don, they just got this man, they apprehended him. After he was walking slowly, they come up behind him and start pushing forward. Then they just enveloped him and took him back there and apprehended him.
6 Baltimore police officers have been arrested in connection with the death of a black man. Freddie Gray had been arrested and suffered a fatal neck injury while in police custody. The city's prosecutor said Gray was in handcuffs and shackles after his arrest, but otherwise not restrained inside a moving police van.
The findings of our comprehensive, thorough, and independent investigation, coupled with the medical examiner's determination that Mr. Gray's death was a homicide, which we received today, has led us to believe that we have probable cause to file criminal charges.
Freddie!
Hard times in the city, in a hard town by the sea. Ain't nowhere to run to, there ain't nothing here for free. Oh, Baltimore, ain't it hard just to live? Oh, Baltimore, ain't it hard just to live? Just to live.
Blackbird Entertainment, Charm City Zone, Charm City Cities, yeah, West Side, yeah, South Side, yeah, East Side, County Wise. We back on the block, hell yeah, we hustlers, but the police gon' always try to jam us up. If we getting it in, you know they wanna cut. They don't ever wanna see us make a buck. Let's add it up, my what's the sum? Equal to the police just having our life. Oh boy, I'm screaming out the boys. If the fiends really want it, then that's their choice. Man, that's their cheese, that's their money. You can't talk sense to them, man, let them be the dumbest. I wanna live lovely, but I can't every time I see the police. It's a crazy thing. While I'm trying to raise my kids, this be the song I sing. Miss Lady.
But it's hard to forget. I put all my faith in God. I know He'll handle it. I can't forgive, but it's still on my mind. Hard to talk about it, so I put it all in my rhymes. I can't forgive, but it's hard to forget. I put all my faith in God. I know He'll handle it. I can't forgive, but it's still on my mind. Hard to talk about it, so I put it all in my rhymes. This is the end, so I let the past be the past. But of course, you know I saved all my best for last. Don't get me wrong when I'm screaming out the police. It's because he got me down on my knees. I'm riding up Emerson Ave with my bad tags. He pulled me over, asked me, did I want to go to jail? Of course not. Had me pull into a dark spot. Hopped up in my whip under the zipper. That's a bad cop. I didn't know what to do, no one I could turn to. I was embarrassed, so I made sure no one ever knew. So when I hear the sirens going off and see the lights flashing, first one to scream out, call you best.
Bible says in the 14th chapter of the book of Exodus that God was leading the children of Israel out of Egypt and into the land of promise. And they began to cry out to the Lord, because there were no graves in Egypt, did you lead us out into a place to die? Why couldn't you have just left us there? But the word of God tells us that God comes back with a different answer, my beloved brothers and sisters. And I sense today in this service that there's somebody in here that God is trying to lead you out of your painful past and into a glorious future. Aren't you tired of looking back at the pain that you've come from? Aren't you ready to come into the marvelous light that God has shined for you? Is there one out here today that's tired of living like you used to live before and you want to come forward into the light of God? Let's give a hand clap of praise for my brother here. God bless you, my brother. The angels of heaven rejoice when even one gives their life to Christ. Your life is never going to be the same. You've made a wonderful decision on today. God bless you. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Yeah. Hallelujah.
Yeah. They had taken my family, my home and my car. They had taken my body, replaced it with scars. They had taken taken my possessions, had me out on the street. I had nothing to wear, I had nothing to eat. They had taken my adulthood, called me less than a man. As I lived in addiction, I could not understand. They had taken my freedom, destroyed my career. The disciples of Satan had me living in fear. In order to conquer all the demons inside, I could no longer run, I could no longer hide. I decided on Jesus, and today I can see His love is so powerful that they didn't take me.
They didn't take me. They didn't take me. I decided on Jesus, but they didn't take me. They didn't take me.
They had taken my family.
They didn't take me.
My home and my car.
I decided on Jesus.
They had taken my body,
but they didn't take me.
And replaced it with scars. They had taken my possessions, had me out on the street.
I decided on Jesus.
I had nothing to wear,
but they didn't take me.
I had nothing to eat. They had taken my adulthood, called me less than a man.
I decided on Jesus.
As I lived in addiction, I could not understand. They had taken my freedom, destroyed my career.
Jesus.
The disciples of Satan had me living in fear. In order to conquer all the demons inside,
I decided on Jesus.
I could no longer run, I could no longer hide. I decided on Jesus, and today I can see.
I decided on Jesus.
Jesus' love is so powerful that they didn't take me. They didn't take me. I decided on Jesus. Hallelujah.
But they didn't take me.
Thank you, Jesus. Glory to God, such a mighty God.
I decided on Jesus.
Hallelujah.
But they